The NBA landscape just shifted in a way that could bring one of the most dominant big men of this generation back to where he belongs, and I'm sitting here with information that's going to send shockwaves through Lakers Nation. We're talking about championship aspirations. We're talking about roster construction at the highest level. And we're talking about a scenario that seemed absolutely impossible just months ago, but is now becoming more realistic by the day. Stay with me because what I'm about to break down involves one of the greatest players to ever wear the purple and gold, and the possibility of him returning to Los Angeles is suddenly very real. Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your home for everything Los Angeles Lakers. I'm here every single day, bringing you the freshest updates, the deepest analysis, and all the insider information about our beloved Lakers. Whether it's breaking news, trade discussions, or game breakdowns, this is where you get the real story about what's happening with our team. And today, I've got something that's going to make every Lakers fan's heart race. Let me set the stage for you because this story has layers that go deeper than most people realize. The NBA is a business, and sometimes that business creates opportunities that nobody saw coming. Franchises make decisions that seem brilliant at the time, but end up backfiring spectacularly. Players get moved in blockbuster trades that reshape entire conferences, and occasionally, just occasionally, those moves create openings for other teams to swoop in and capitalize on the chaos. Right now, there's a franchise in absolute turmoil. I'm talking about a team that made one of the most shocking moves in recent NBA history, a trade that sent ripples through the entire league and left fans, analysts, and even people within the organization completely stunned. This franchise went all in on a vision. They committed massive resources to making that vision a reality, and it's blown up in their faces in spectacular fashion. The consequences of that failed vision are now creating an opportunity that could change everything for the Los Angeles Lakers. The Dallas Mavericks are in crisis mode. After firing their general manager, Nico Harrison, the organization is desperately trying to figure out what comes next. Harrison's tenure ended in disaster after he orchestrated what might go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history, sending Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers in a deal that was supposed to reshape the Mavericks' future, but instead destroyed it. The centerpiece of that return was a player who's been an absolute nightmare for Dallas, a player whose injury history has continued to plague him, and a player who now represents everything that went wrong with Harrison's vision. That player is Anthony Davis, and according to multiple team sources speaking with ESPN's Tim McMahon, the Mavericks are now actively exploring the trade market for him ahead of the February deadline. Let that sink in for a moment, Lakers Nation. Anthony Davis, the same player who won a championship with us in 2020, the same player who formed one of the most dominant duos in recent NBA history alongside LeBron James, the same player who gave everything he had in purple and gold, could be coming back to Los Angeles. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I need to walk you through exactly how we got here and what this means for the Lakers moving forward. The Luka Doncic trade was supposed to be Dallas's path to sustained championship contention. Instead, it's become an absolute catastrophe. Doncic has thrived in Los Angeles, fitting perfectly alongside LeBron and becoming exactly the dynamic playmaker we needed to extend our championship window. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis has been hampered by injuries in Dallas, most recently dealing with a calf strain that's kept him out for multiple weeks. The Mavericks are now stuck with a 32-year-old center on a massive contract who can't stay healthy, and they're desperately trying to pivot toward building around their #1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg. Here's where things get interesting from a Lakers perspective. Dallas is in a position where they need to move Davis, but they don't want the entire league to know they're desperate. That's why you're seeing conflicting reports. Minority owner Mark Cuban told The Athletic that Dallas won't be trading Davis, saying they want to try to win. But Cuban doesn't have final say anymore. He's now serving as an advisor to majority owner Patrick Dumont as part of a committee leading basketball operations after Harrison's firing. The reality is that Dallas is exploring the market for Davis while publicly stating they want to keep him, which is a classic negotiating tactic designed to maximize return. For the Lakers, this represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to bring back a player who knows our system, who has chemistry with LeBron, who understands what it takes to win in Los Angeles, and who could immediately elevate us back into legitimate championship contention. Yes, Davis is 32 years old. Yes, he has an injury history that's concerning, but when he's healthy, he's still one of the most dominant two-way players in the entire NBA. He's a player who can protect the rim, switch onto guards, finish at the basket, and stretch the floor with his mid-range game. That's exactly the type of player we need to complement LeBron and Luka. Let me break down what a potential Davis return would mean for our roster construction. Right now, we're a team that's incredibly talented on the perimeter, but lacks that elite interior presence on both ends of the floor. We've been getting by with a combination of role players at the center position, and while guys have stepped up at times, we don't have anyone who can consistently dominate in the paint the way Davis can when he's at his best. Bringing him back would solve that problem immediately and give us arguably the most talented starting five in the entire Western Conference. Imagine a lineup with Luka Doncic running the point, creating opportunities for everyone with his elite playmaking and scoring ability. LeBron James operating as a versatile forward who can facilitate, score, and defend multiple positions. Anthony Davis anchoring the paint on both ends, protecting the rim defensively, and giving us a reliable scoring option inside. And then you surround those three with shooters and defenders who can complement their games. That's a championship-caliber roster, plain and simple. The financial aspect of bringing Davis back is complicated, but not impossible. He's making significant money, which means we'd need to send out matching salary in any trade. The most logical package would probably involve some combination of our young players and future draft picks. Dallas is pivoting toward building around Cooper Flag, which means they'd be interested in young assets and draft capital that can help them accelerate that rebuild. We have pieces that could interest them, and if Rob Pelinka can structure a deal that doesn't gut our entire future while bringing back Davis, it would be an absolute masterstroke. Now, I know some of you are thinking about the injury concerns, and those are legitimate. Davis has missed significant time throughout his career, and his latest calf strain is just another example of the durability issues that have followed him. But here's my counterargument. We know how to manage Davis. We've done it before. During our championship run in 2020, we had a system in place that kept him healthy and effective throughout the playoffs. We understand his body. We understand what he needs in terms of rest and load management, and we have the infrastructure to maximize his availability when it matters most. The other factor to consider is motivation. Davis's time in Dallas has been a disaster through no fault of his own. He was traded away from a situation where he was beloved and successful, sent to a franchise that's now in complete chaos, and he's dealt with injuries in an environment where nothing has gone right. Coming back to Los Angeles would be a homecoming for him. It would be a chance to finish what he started, to add more championships to his legacy, to play alongside LeBron again, and to prove that he's still one of the best players in the world when healthy and in the right situation. There's also the Stephen Curry and Golden State Warriors angle to consider here. According to reports, if the Warriors are serious about going all in for another championship with Curry, they have a glaring need for front court reinforcements to help Curry and Jimmy Butler. Davis would give them another high-end veteran to chase a title, and Dallas could potentially land Jonathan Kuminga in that scenario, giving him a fresh start alongside Cooper Flag. This means we're not the only team that's going to be interested in Davis. Golden State has the assets to make a competitive offer, and they're in win-now mode just like we are. That's why Rob Pelinka needs to be aggressive here. If there's even a chance that Dallas is willing to trade Anthony Davis, we need to be making calls immediately. We need to be putting together the best possible package we can offer without completely mortgaging our future. We need to be selling Davis on the idea of coming back home and finishing his career in purple and gold. This is the type of opportunity that doesn't come around often, and we can't afford to let it slip away. Let's talk about what this would mean for our championship odds. Right now, we're a good team that's competitive in the Western Conference, but probably a tier below the absolute elite contenders. Bringing back Anthony Davis would change that calculation entirely. We'd immediately jump into that top tier of championship favorites because we'd have 3 legitimate superstars in their primes or close to it, surrounded by role players who fit perfectly with what those stars do best. We'd have the scoring, the playmaking, the defense, and the experience necessary to win it all. The timing also works in our favor. LeBron is still playing at an incredibly high level, but we all know his window is closing. He's not going to be able to do this forever, and we need to maximize every single season we have left with him. Luka Doncic is in his prime right now and playing some of the best basketball of his career. Adding Anthony Davis to that mix gives us the best possible chance to capitalize on this window and bring another championship to Los Angeles. I also want to address the potential domino effects of Dallas moving Davis. According to reports, if Davis is on the market, we could be headed toward a mini fire sale in Dallas come February. They could look to move veteran pieces like P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, and Klay Thompson. Kyrie Irving is hoping to return to the court at some point this season, and he could certainly be on the table this summer if Dallas wants to fully commit to a youth movement around Cooper Flagg. This means there could be other opportunities for us to add pieces beyond just Davis, depending on how aggressive we want to be and what assets we're willing to part with. The Lakers have always been a franchise that thinks big. We don't settle for being good. We don't accept being competitive, but not quite good enough. We go after championships, and we do whatever it takes to put ourselves in position to win them. Bringing back Anthony Davis would be the ultimate example of that mentality. It would be a bold move that signals to the entire league that we're all in on winning right now, and it would give us the pieces necessary to actually get it done. My honest assessment of the situation is that the Lakers absolutely need to pursue this opportunity with everything they have. Yes, there are risks involved. Yes, Davis's injury history is concerning. Yes, we'd have to give up assets to make it happen. But the potential reward far outweighs those risks. We're talking about adding a player who's already won a championship with this organization, who has proven chemistry with our best players, and who could be the missing piece that takes us from contender to favorite. The next few weeks are going to be absolutely critical. The trade deadline is in February, which means Rob Pelinka has time to work on this, but not unlimited time. He needs to be having conversations with Dallas right now. He needs to be figuring out what it would take to make a deal happen. He needs to be evaluating our roster and determining which pieces we're willing to move and which ones are untouchable. And most importantly, he needs to be aggressive, because if we hesitate, another team like Golden State could swoop in and take this opportunity away from us. I'm incredibly optimistic about what this could mean for the Lakers. Anthony Davis coming back to Los Angeles would be a storybook scenario, the kind of thing that Lakers fans dream about. It would give us the roster we need to compete for championships not just this year, but for the next several years. It would validate the Luka Doncic trade as one of the best moves in franchise history. And it would put us right back where we belong, at the top of the NBA, competing for titles and adding to our legendary championship legacy. Now, I want to hear from you, Lakers Nation. How do you feel about the possibility of Anthony Davis returning to Los Angeles? Would you be excited about bringing him back despite the injury concerns? What would you be willing to give up in a trade to make this happen? Do you think Rob Pelinka should be aggressive in pursuing this opportunity? Or should we focus on other avenues to improve the roster? Drop your thoughts in the comments. below because I genuinely want to know where you stand on this massive potential move. If you want to stay on top of every development with the Lakers, if you want breaking news the moment it happens, if you want in-depth analysis that goes beyond the surface level, you need to subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, because I'm here every single day bringing you everything you need to know about our team. Share this video with your fellow Lakers fans because this is news that everyone needs to hear. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's keep believing in what this team can accomplish, and let's trust that Rob Pelinka will do whatever it takes to bring another championship back to Los Angeles. Lakers Nation, I'll see you in the next one, and as always, let's go. Lakers!